And I'm going to say this, dating is a big and profitable vertical. How many of you know what the dating vertical is? So you bring leads to a dating platform. These leads then subscribe to this dating platform and interact with other users. They interact by sending images, videos, or just basic texts. Your point is to try and bring as many good leads into the dating platform as possible, and that's your job. And the advertiser's job instead is to monetize these leads to the best of their ability. Very clear, very simple, right? You get paid per lead. Let's just keep it as that. I find it kind of cool. I believe it has a mystique about it, a bit of an allure, something of an X factor. But at the same time, dating is very global. There are about offers in 90% of the countries worldwide. It is highly scalable since there's so many sub-segments within dating. And at the same time, it's evergreen. We're always going to look for human connection. We always want to meet people. That's never going to disappear. So as long as the need to look for people is there, then dating is here to stay. So I'm going to show you how we turn this into a revenue-generating machine. Let's get to it. This is what I'll speak about today. Creatives and targeting, super important for affiliates, of course. I'll speak about different countries to target and different partners to work with. And then once we're done with the theory, I'll jump into the practical, tie it all together with a winning campaign of ours. Now, let's jump into it. Creatives and targeting, super important. Me and my team, when we first started, our creatives weren't good. Our targeting wasn't great either. Our ad copies didn't speak to anybody. It was like going on a date with somebody that you have nothing in common with. There's no conversation. You have no spark, no connection whatsoever. So then we segmented this into 3 main approaches. Approach number 1, ethnic preferences. We all have our flavors. We all have our tastes. I'm Italian. I might not be to Italian girls. I might be into something else, right? And you can segment your audience or segment your creative based on this, right? The second approach is the most common one. It's a same-age companionship. If some of us are in a relationship in this room, we're probably into a relationship with someone our same age. Someone that we can call our peer, someone that we share almost the same generation. And therefore, you will approach them by demonstrating someone of the same age. And then you have the last approach. Older man, younger woman. Common dynamic, bit of a different approach, but very much visible in the world. Now, I will speak about 3 key points that me and my team found that you have to have in your creatives. Number 1 is age. This has to be super clear and super visible to your audience, to your target, right? I highly suggest to you not to put filters on it, not to make it cartoony. You want it to be super obvious to the audience that of the age of the person within the creative. The second one is poses. Body behavior is a language in itself. All of us know that here, right? Certain poses signify other things compared to others. If I'm putting a creative, for example, with a lady with her legs crossed and her bust up, it might demonstrate approachability. To click on it, and at the same time, it might show elegance, because the legs are crossed. If, for example, you have another example of a woman touching her collarbone or playing her hair, you know as a creative, you might attract a more sensual audience, someone who prefers that. But the most important thing on this slide is relatability. We want to speak to our audience. Our audience wants to understand what is happening fully. Picture this, right? Not many of us will want to advertise somebody that looks like Marilyn Monroe because to a lot of us, it's unattainable. It's something that doesn't exist. We're never going to achieve that. We do not see ourselves in that. It doesn't mirror. So how can we advertise in such a way? Instead, we want to advertise something a little bit more day-to-day. For example, in your creative, let's take it as an everyday example, right? You're in the supermarket, walking around your trolley, you look at the cereal aisle, boom, you fall in love. An everyday person, right? Or you're at the gym, you see somebody in the treadmill, catches your eye, boom. Something along like that, something that you can truly understand on a day-to-day perspective. So yeah, relatability, guys, super important in your creatives for dating. Now, these are 5 must-haves within your images and within your creatives. The picture has to be at home. We all love to hike. It doesn't convert. You can keep your hiking pictures for your family and friends. Don't put them on Facebook or on the ads. The picture has to be from the knee up, or better yet, from the bust up. All of this is like wasted space. This is the core. This is what matters. That's where the focus goes to. So stick to that. As I said, they have to be attractive. Not Marilyn Monroe, neither Shrek, but something in the middle. And there has to be no text. You do not want to distract from the creative in itself. Please do not put call to actions or any text which might distract from the image in itself. And a singular person. Group photos don't tend to work on Tinder profiles, for example, or at least it's not the main one. They're obviously not going to work on ads at the same time. And then we can jump into the creatives and the testing part of it. But before I do so, you can close your eyes or not, but I want you to picture your ideal partner, or aesthetically, of course. Now, if you did so, I believe every single person here had a different person in mind. Well, that makes my job a little bit harder, right? I need to try and group all of this together. Now, how we do this is by testing and generating as much as possible. You can generate as many ads as you want, 50, 100, 200, 300. It's up to you and your budget, right? However, I suggest for you to test at least always 10 and to always keep this going. Because then you found your group, you found your niches. Then, if it works in one geo, you can extend it to other geos. If it works in the US, you can use it in Canada, in France, the UK, or Germany. So it's a very easy scale horizontally once you found your winning creatives. And once you do find the winning creative, well, keep the same poses and the same expression. You can rotate the attire and the woman. I'm mainly speaking it from the male side of things, of course, because majority of these ads are catered towards males for dating. And then we can go about the ad copy. It is, I don't want to say the least important segment, but once we have a beautiful visual stimuli, our eye naturally goes over there. We're a little bit more simple this way. It's the least important aspect, but always put one sentence. Always, please. Do not make it longer as well. They won't read it. You always make it from the first person perspective of the user in itself, right? Not from the advertiser's point, not from your point. And you should always try and demonstrate what the user should expect moving forward. A little sneak peek, a little pre-hint, so they understand what they're clicking onto. You don't want to give it away too much, but please, give them a little something to play with. And targeting. Meta, look, phones are going up, cool. Meta enables you to do very specific targeting. Let's use this to the maximum of our capability, guys. On dating, since you are with a Bonnie and Clyde relationship with your advertiser, you are a dynamic duo, all looking out for each other, the most profitable demographics are always 40 years or older. Obviously, you can add or play around with this age. You can do +5 years, +10 years to boost it up to 50. You can lower it down to 30 to increase your ROI. But at the same time, let's keep 40 as the status quo. And then, if your ROI is not negative, you can play around with it. And, as I said before, consult with your advertiser about the most profitable demographics. Not all products are the same. Not all products are catered towards the same segment. If you ask your advertiser, hey, what demographic does work best? Is it 30-year-olds to 40-year-olds? Is it 55-year-olds? Is it under 30? They will tell you because you obviously want them to have the best quality leads. So just ask a simple question. Don't be scared. Then you want to target iOS over Android. They roughly spend 30 to 40% more than Android users. So iOS is where the quality lies. Yes, it might be expensive, but it will be worth it. However, if your ROI is negative, please include all operating systems. You can always balance it out. Maybe launch an iOS campaign and launch an all operating systems campaign. And you can see which one works best for you or for the advertiser. And last but not least, everybody that runs Meta knows this. Keep it broad. Meta likes it broad. You're already doing age, you're already doing mobile, you're potentially already doing a country. Stick with this. However, if you do have to increase quality, there are specific regions of each country which tend to have better spenders. Now let's move on to countries and partners to work with. Picking partners. I must have said Bonnie and Clyde 15 times by now. Well, you have to pick who your Bonnie and Clyde are going to be, right? You should always go where your traffic is appreciated. Do not look for validation. If an advertiser is working for you, I don't get why you have to try and also prove it that it can work for another advertiser. And trust me, I've fallen into this hole many, many times up until I learned to do so. Go where your traffic is appreciated. Not all products are created equal. Not all monetize the same way. Stick to what is working. This is because each advertiser or offer provider analyzes leads differently. They all look for different things. They all have different backends that are able to monetize users this particular way. Therefore, since they analyze it differently, it might not work for everybody the same approach. And however, they do share 3 common metrics. Metric number 1 is ARPU. This is average revenue per user. It pretty much signifies how much your leads are truly worth. If, for example, you're being paid 10 and your ARPU is 4, you know that you will have to raise your quality and bring them better leads. Second one is lead to sale. Let's say you bring 100 leads to a dating platform and only 5 of them end up spending money, your lead to sale is 5%. And some of you go, I can do 5%. It doesn't seem too high of a number. Please try. It is not easy to achieve. And the last but not least is margin. As I said, the advertiser invests into buying your leads. It's a very simple metric to realize whether they have a positive margin or a negative margin on your investment in you. So you can always ask, and they will always tell you how far behind in terms of margin they are, or how in front they are. And picking offers. Once you've chosen your partners, the countries, you can pick the offer portfolio. There are so many offers an advertiser has. Pick the ones which are catered to your specific niche. If you are running a more senior creative with a more senior targeting on the same mage companionship, then obviously pick an offer which speaks to the audience. Keep it coherent as much as possible. Or you pick the offers which are the newest in the market. They launch new offers to keep the performance up, to have a new database. Obviously, the newest ones are the least saturated ones. It's the one where you probably are going to monetize best. So also pick that offer. If not, you pick an offer which has the best backend. What I mean by this is that each offer is able to monetize differently compared to others. Some monetize better than others. There's no simple way for me to tell you why. It's just the way the world works. It's very simple. If you run an offer which has the best backend, more likely than not, the leads you sent will be monetized by the user, and it's more likely you have success together. And each advertiser has their countries of competence. There's no one to rule them all. It doesn't exist. Some are better than the US, some are better than Germany, some are better than the UK. Understand and ask them where their strengths lie, and then you know exactly how to pick your partners and the offers within them.